Alright, this is part 2 of our fingerstyle basics. Last time we covered orange position, how to hold your hand naturally and have it function without any excessive tension, without reaching for the strings, without doing anything weird. So we always want to keep that in the back of our mind, and we want to remind ourselves of those things. We also talked about pizza guy, the acute angle between the horizontal string and then our thumb angle, and that is for to open our hand up so we can kind of swing through and not be kind of stuck like this using our middle knuckle, which leads to Kit Kat guy. We don't want Kit Kat guy, we want orange position, and we want pizza guy. Okay, so now that we've got that kind of set, let's try and expand a little bit, and let's try and use our fingers in different combinations. If you haven't checked out the previous video, just look at, it'll be like number 1, you know, in this wee series. So we did talk about touch, pluck, empty, touch, pluck, empty. So that covers us for doing kind of chordal things. And then we also did one basic little back and forth motion, sequential motion, with that like Metallica song, right? So let's just expand it a wee bit further and try and just gain as much territory with our fingers as possible. This core position thing is so fundamental that you want to just kind of just to feel like you're at home, like your hand is just home here, and this is what it kind of immediately resorts to. So why not just try and kind of put our fingers through the ringer, you know, and really work hard. Like I said before, you can do things like that are a bit rote like this even while watching like a TV show or something, or if you really want to concentrate hard too, which I highly recommend, just get your phone out and put the wee timer on. You know, you'd be surprised when you really concentrate on something how long like 2 minutes is. 2 minutes can seem like an eternity. So let's try and add a couple of other combinations of our thumb and our fingers, and we'll keep it all right now with this same spacing, with our thumb just being on the thickest string, the low E string, and then these 3 fingers like this. First of all, let me show you just the terminology that I'll continue to use and why it makes sense. I'm just going to give you the way classical guitarists refer to their right hand fingers. And it's very, very easy to know, and there's no point in, you know, you could call them whatever you want, but you might as well kind of have some kind of consensus. Classical guitarists have letter names for their right hand fingers, and largely because the guitar kind of comes from Spain, you know, it's a Spanish instrument. They are named after the various Spanish names of your fingers, okay? As embarrassing as it sounds, I actually don't know what those names are, but I just know the letter names. P for your thumb. Is it puñana or something? I don't know. Don't want to embarrass myself further. So your thumb in classical terminology is P. I, which is easy because we think of this as our index finger. M, this is M, also easy because this is our middle finger. I'll keep it turned this direction. And then A, this one, our ring finger, which I think is anillo in Spanish. Anillo meaning ring. So the reason why they use letter names like that is because when you're doing a classical piece and you see some particular fingerings in it, there's also going to be left hand fingerings. Okay, so the left hand fingers are numbered. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, and your pinky is 4. Okay, might be a bit confusing if you're a pianist. But 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then the right hand, we have the thumb is P, I, M, and A, and then the pinky is C. We don't use the pinky that much. I mean, you can, you know, obviously there's, if you can do it well, you can do anything. It's just so much shorter than the other fingers, it's hard to get it in the same plucking plane without doing something weird. But I've seen it, you know, people do amazing things with their pinky before. I used to kind of pluck artificial harmonics with it when I didn't know any better when I was a wee boy. But now I just use A, you know, if I want to do those kind of harmonics. So, anyway, so we use these letter names. So if you look at your hand like this, PIMAC. Now just think of it as some kind of, sometimes I tell kids like it's some bizarre greeting, you know, like Dr. Spock would, you know, do this number here. And so just say PIMAC, PIMAC, right? It's a new product by Apple that is in the shape of a pie, PIMAC, PIMAC. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I will refer to the right hand fingers with their kind of classical name. So let's try and go through some other combinations using these fingers, and just, you know, to keep heaping more terminology on you. Don't be intimidated if there's like a word you don't understand. Just ask me in the comments and I'll hopefully be able to write to you. When we break up chords like this, instead of just playing a chord, all the notes at the same time, musicians refer to this as an arpeggio. Okay, so when you were like me when I was a wee boy, we used to do all these arpeggios, and that's what I thought arpeggios were. But arpeggios are just any kind of chord that's been broken up, and it can be broken up into beautiful patterns, you know. It doesn't have to be this kind of sweet picking thing or kind of a showy offy thing. So the Italian for arpeggio basically means to break in Northern Irish. So you're breaking the chord up. I also think it's a great name for a cat. If I had I don't really like cats, but if I did have a cat, I would probably call it Arpeggio. Maybe because they like the leap, you know, from up and down. Anyway, I digress. So P-I-M-A. And we're going to try and go back to our core position. Make sure we've got pizza guy, right? And even spaceship guy, if you really follow the instructions. And we did the plucking, we did the sequential thing. So let's just do another couple of patterns, right? A very basic pattern that you can do is just 4 notes in a row, okay? So we'll start with the thumb, then I, M, A, okay? Just a group of 4, and then we'll keep going. A good way to practice this as well is if you, instead of trying to gradually get faster and faster, try getting it just nice and easy and get your fingers to respond, and do it nice and slow, and then try and have a wee burst where you do it twice as fast. Let me just demonstrate. So if I go like this, and then the 4th time, fast. It might take you a wee while to get there, and doing it slow at first is good. All you want to do is keep putting clarity into your fingers. Your hand and your brain and your muscles thrive on clarity. Speed will come naturally when you have clarity. Okay, when you sit down at your computer and you're, you know, whatever, putting in your password for your email, you'd probably do it really fast, right? Because you have total clarity about it. You don't have any kind of confusion, You know, there's no other options to kind of go zzz. So when we do these things slowly, it's not to do with being slow or stupid. You don't want to push yourself beyond what you can do, because you're working against this idea of clarity and you're just this synaptic response from your fingers to your brain. So clarity first, and then the speed will come. So we can go in that direction. We can go P-I-M-A, P-I-M-A, right? And then we can go in the opposite direction, right? We'll start with A, and we'll go A-M-I-P. And then again, once you start to get the hang of it, you can try putting in a wee speed burst on the fourth go around and do 2 of them twice as fast. So the whole time you're also trying to kind of reinforce this idea of touch, pluck, empty, touch, pluck, empty, and you're kind of turning it into one motion, a kind of an advanced stroke. Which is a wee bit trickier when you're doing it sequentially, you know. But all your sensations should feel like you're always releasing once you've done something. You're not holding on to it. That kind of fight or flight response wants us to kind of make fists and smack someone on the back or run away. But we want to try and kind of keep this ballistic motion, this kind of mercurial, always releasing, always emptying when we're done with tension. It's also a great idea to, it seems very obvious, and I'll keep hitting on this, but human beings are like amazing mimickers, okay? You taught yourself how to speak from nothing, right? Just by mimicking. That is listening and absorbing things around you, information around you, and just kind of trying it, you know, kind of seeing it. When I go to the basketball court with the other dads, and I do my sweet basketball moves and take them to the hole, I am mimicking, you know, Michael Jordan, obviously, and Kobe Bryant, and just from watching, I have a sweet turnaround jump shot. It might not look like it, but, you know, trust me, I'll take you down anytime. So what you can do is you can get a wee video of a really good classical guitarist doing this stuff and just watch their right hand. You can pick the thing that you're looking for and just kind of let yourself absorb it, just like when you were a kid, or maybe you've done an impression of somebody before. You allow yourself to absorb it and then you kind of spit it back out. You can also watch, like Joan Baez has very good, like, fundamental right hand technique. You know, if you just watch like a cool video of her, I think she uses a thumb pick, I'm not sure, but you know, she has a very good fundamentally sound technique. Or you can watch, there's an amazing video of Paco de Lucia, who is, you know, in my opinion, the greatest flamenco guitarist of all time. If you look up Paco de Lucia, Tarantella, T-A-R-E-N-T-E-L-L-A, it has this amazing wee concert where he's just sitting like at a kitchen table where the best flamenco concerts happen. You have the tequila, you have this like singer, you know, singing from the heart, maybe a couple of people. Best possible concert, right? Is a concert for 1 or 2 people. And he's just sitting there at the kitchen and he's playing so amazingly, but there's great close-ups in that video of his thumb, and sometimes he goes even full perpendicular with his thumb to get a bigger tone. But you'll see his pizza guy, you'll see his like this technique of releasing and letting go. So we have those different possibilities. You can mimic things, you can watch things, and that'll help your hand absorb the information. So we have P-I-M-A, and then we have A-M-I-P. Then we can do something that's maybe a bit back and forth. You could go P-M-I-M-P, this time you're deliberately giving this guy a break, right? And you could do the opposite. You can go P I M I P I M I. You could go. You could do triplets. You could go. Sorry, I'll slow down. That's a bit. It reminds me of those. When I was a kid, there'd be these Yngwie Malmsteen hot licks videos, and you would he would be like doing this, and then he'd be like, "Now I will play it slow." It would be exactly the same. Anyway, sorry. You can go in triplets. Basically trying to stay in this core position, but explore every possible combination that you can. It doesn't always, when you're working at something, it doesn't always have to be like a high reward thing. The end goal is the reward. You know, you want to get this idea of really mastering this stuff on the guitar, and pump yourself up about just doing work. You know, some things aren't like, oh, I need to learn a song. Just kind of go for the jugular, right? And find the technique that you want and just go at it. This is what really separates people that become very good at things and those who remain mediocre or worse. So you can do like a kind of a back and forth thing with two fingers, or you can do a triplet thing. Then you can do something even more complicated. You can go like this, like P-I-M-I-A-I-M-I. So these are the kind of patterns that you're probably used to just hearing on a piano, perhaps. You can also kind of spice up the E minor chord a wee bit. That's understandable. You might want to make it a bit different. You could do something like this. You could, just by adding this C here, you can make this first inversion C major chord. Some chords are very close to other chords, which we'll explore future in kind of the music theory world. And sometimes music is much more moving if you only move the thing that you have to move. So anyway, we've got our E minor chord, and if we add a C, we'll have all the notes of a C major chord. And then you can even move it up. We can do like a James Bond thing maybe. So I'll do this. The C sharp. Just keep like gaining the territory. You could try writing a song like that. Try writing a song with one of these patterns. A lot of fingerstyle players that you might like, you'd be surprised how few patterns they use, you know, but they're so effective. It just sounds cooler, and it's good to practice this. Just the general idea of having a bit of distance. I'll talk about this more in depth later, but a bit of distance between the lowest note and then the kind of the middle area notes. If you look at any piano music, like, you know, Mozart or Chopin or Beethoven, you're gonna see down in the lower notes there's much larger space, because those lower frequencies are much larger, you know, and they take up more room. We can kind of fit more stuff up here, but down here these notes are like elephants, you know, and you can only fit so many elephants in a room. Like in here, maybe a couple of baby ones maybe, but in this room you could fit maybe 10,000 butterflies, at least for a wee while. So it's good to have this space between your thumb and the rest of your fingers. So try these different combinations and really just think in the back of your mind, I am going to feel at home here in core position. I'm going to teach my fingers to respond when I tell them to pluck. When I tell them not to pluck, they won't. And you know, just do it. You know, just whatever. Just put on something on TV and just keep doing it and doing it. In the next lesson, I'll go into more depth with the thumb, getting the thumb moving, and some of the things we can do with that. But like I said before, hopefully you'll like, subscribe, blah 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 blah, all that stuff, and ring the wee bell. And if you haven't already, or if you're new, welcome to this channel. And if you have any musical questions, I'm going to keep it this fingerstyle stuff because this is the only question I've got so far. I'm just doing all this for Kenny. So if you have any wee questions or curiosities about music, just to give me ideas to respond to, please write them in the comments, and we'll, I'll see you on this bizarre simulacrum of the internet. Stay well.